that I made down in my workshop for my football scene. My name is Bennie, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 561 Moore Street, uh, 70806. I'm 70 years old. I carved this approximately 40 years ago, about 1948. The last time it was set up was in 1955, just to have some pictures made. But the last time it's been on display for the public is 1953 out in California for a hobby show. And but this was originally made, carved, and I'd painted it up earlier in '49 for the LSU Kentucky game here in Baton Rouge, and then later the Sugar Bowl wanted it, D.H. Holmes wanted it for the Sugar Bowl between LSU and Oklahoma, which was played January 1950. So they are painted up in the Oklahoma and LSU colors. The players are numbered according to the respective teams. All except one player I showed one injured being carried off, which was a fictitious number. I didn't want to jinx anybody. And I didn't really try to carve any of the figurines that look like anybody in particular. They all are carved separately. All the features are different. The little helmets are made separately where they just slip on the heads. The heads can be turned where I could change the direction of my play in setting it up. The little figurines have wire running up through the leg, coming out the bottom of the shoe, and have a little tiny hole drilled in the field. That's the way I set them up. Those that are standing, of course, those that are on the ground, I didn't need to do that. I do not glue them down, because in having to remove them to transport it around or something, the field, I would be continually cutting them loose. The ones on the bench are just sitting there, and the little benches are not glued down. Neither are the helmets. They're just laying there on the field. But all the ones standing have wires that in the bottom of their feet and they're stuck in the field. But anyway, they took about 14 hours to carve each figurine, and it took about a year, I guess, to complete the whole thing in my spare time. I had a regular job at Exxon as a draftsman, and I did this on weekends and at night. Sometimes I worked pretty late at night carving on this thing. But I loved it, and I did it with a razor blade, a double-edged razor blade out of balsa wood, and also plastic wood. I would carve the figurines out of separate pieces and glue them together to get my different positions. And then I would build it up with plastic wood and then recarve that and then sand it and repaint and paint it. And it is painted with an flat oil paint. And these colors, as you see here, this has just been photographed recently. And this paint has held up remarkable. 38 years ago when I set it up for the Sugar Bowl. But it's remarkable that it's still intact because it was packed away in a box. Just all the figurines were piled on one another. I didn't carefully wrap each one. They're very fragile. And I moved about 3 times with it these things being boxed up. The grandkids could have got into them. They could have been crushed. The roaches could have got in them. A lot of things could have happened. But when this movie come to town, which caused me to resurrect it, get it out again, and set it up, this movie, Everybody's All-American, which was filmed here in Baton Rouge and supposed to be shown, previewed this fall in Baton Rouge, '88. they had the uniforms they used on their players happened to be the same uniforms of LSU and Oklahoma at that time. And so I got it out thinking maybe the movie outfit could maybe use it possibly in the movie for the title or something, but it didn't work out. It didn't work into that plan, so that went by the way. My idea is to get this thing out before the public again. I've got it on TV here in town, which I'll show you a little later after this segment that I shot. It's a video show that I appeared on a hotline with Pat Shingleton, and they'll show a little bit of it along with some of my other carvings. But the main thing I'm trying to bring out here is the football exhibit, which I'm really interested in trying to get out, get some publicity on it, and get in some national magazines. And hopefully that's some collector somewhere would purchase it, and maybe he could use it for his own use, but it would be put into a museum eventually where a lot of folks could see it. It is really a work of art. I think I spent so much time. It was a labor of love. I never carved it from any pictures or any drawings, anything. It was strictly from just in my imagination, and I carved all these figurines out and then set it all up in the play that I wanted. And so it was, I just loved football so much. I never got to play it, but I don't think these shots here particularly do it justice. I think it, especially down there in the workshop with the background and everything, I think it would be nice if I have a portable. I just had a portable field made. Well, using the same field, but they made a a platform out of aluminum framing that I can transport out, and set it up somewhere, almost like a ping pong table. It has its own legs and everything, and I could see setting it up, say, out in Tiger Stadium or someplace with a nice background. That would really be advantageous to making it look a whole lot better. And like I say, the pictures don't really do it justice. It's to seeing it in the real thing. But anyway, I'm not going to bore you anymore with this. I just wanted to bring you up to date on how I did all of this, and what my plans were to get it out, if I possibly could, before the public, that they could see it, and someday, like I say, it would end up in a museum possibly.